I think that when we consider nutrition, the beginning of our lives, we are creating a physical body bit by bit, cell by cell, because those are the basic building blocks that honestly build our existence.
What we're putting in our bodies has a direct effect on how we're able to learn, how we're able to go about our day-to-day activities. The very first thing we need is those basic calories to make sure that the kids have enough energy to get through the day. But then above that, we need to make sure that our kids are getting the necessary nutrients that they need.
I think healthy food is mostly like the foods that contain the most amount of protein or carbs that will help you like build more muscle mass or like actually help your body out more.
Eating healthy is 5 vegetables and 5 fruits a day. I feel like if I meet that, and I don't just eat an insane amount of sugar that day, then I feel like I've eaten healthy.
We do have a meal pattern that USDA mandates at each meal, and that kind of gives us the roadmap, if you will, on what needs to be on a breakfast plate.
You have to like actually get the healthy food for yourself when you're actually in line.
At our high school level and our middle school level, we do serve a salad daily.
At school I eat just pretty standard lunch, like burger. Sometimes they'll have like I'm not even sure if this is real pulled pork, but they'll have like a pulled pork burger.
Pizza's good on Fridays. I usually get pizza on Fridays, and chicken, any kind of protein.
One of my biggest challenges is just getting kids to eat. They are at the age where they're embarrassed to eat school food. Maybe they're trying to watch their weight. I try to stick with the items that the kids really enjoy.
People need to know how to read the nutritional label. Some foods that are processed have additives in them that might not be ideal for what your nutritional needs are, and you need to be able to identify those.
I think that when you start to look at different chemicals that are put into foods to preserve them, we should be cautious about that, and you have to really self-educate. I think that we've come into an environment where there's been so much corporate push.
When we can, and we have the ability, we can do better. And when we think of healthier products, we think of products that do not have additional additives, do not have additional maybe colors in it that people don't want of the dyes, maybe don't have the additional like sugars. We also communicate people their worth through food. So by giving kids food that is healthy and nutritious and looks appetizing, we're also communicating to that child that they are of value.
I feel like it's such a necessary skill to learn that it should be in every school's curriculum, is how to manage your food. What is the importance of food and us?
One thing that's really important with younger children is to introduce to them all sorts of types of foods. And of course, the garden is a great way to do that. Kids get very interested if they're planting something or working with a plant. They want to taste it too. Giving them that opportunity to smell it, to feel it, it opens up their consciousness about what food is and what the possibility is.
We are also working hard to incorporate a lot of scratch cooking into our meals. When SB 4 was passed in July of 2023, one of the pillars in that legislation is that scratch cooked meals had to be premier in all of our schools. It's going to take some work and some education of not only students but parents alike.
For me personally, food has a massive impact on how I feel for the rest of the day or even in the moment. If I don't eat something like when I go before class, like even if there's a protein bar, I'm gonna be pretty miserable. I'm not gonna wanna do my schoolwork. I'm not gonna wanna be there.
In my own life, it does affect my behavior. If I'm eating a lot of junk food, I'm not as happy a person, I'm not as proactive.
Teenagers have very busy lives. They're in sports, they're in extracurricular activities. Being intentional about what they're eating is not always in the front of their mind.
My friend group and my peers, they're also struggling with money, so getting the cheap, unhealthy alternative, like, that's the norm.
What we eat, I think it's a combination of what is available and what we like.
If we are not getting our children's basic needs met, there's no way that we can achieve or expect our youth to achieve our educational standards that we're setting for them.
If we don't get this next generations and future generations interested in growing food, there is not going to be any food.
I always kind of frame it like it's a huge boat and it's hard to turn it. And there are people on board who absolutely want to make that U-turn and go in a different direction and are actively working towards better and healthier food. But it's hard because it's a system.
I want to empower kids to know they have the ability to grow their own food. Being a farmer is a cool thing.
I think it's important to stay hopeful and optimistic in our work because none of this is easy work. It's hard to work in the garden. It's hard to work in the kitchen. It's so much easier to open up a box, but we have to keep our optimism because that's what feeds us in the end to help make these bigger changes.